Welcome to this video topic of protecting essential records, the vital records that we are looking into it and for how long you need to record it or protect it. First and foremost, we need to address the types of risk. Risk from loss of agencies. Memory can be physical loss, can be intellectual loss. So it is the loss from the agency's memory. Can we do it? Can we risk it? Probably not. Risk related to emergencies, natural emergencies, technological emergencies, and obviously civil emergencies, like in fire, like in earthquake. Risk related to record management. We are talking the biggest risk is the legal risk. Then comes the security risk, the business risk, the accountability risk, the technology risk, and the long-term preservations of the record. These are my various risks that we are associated with record management. So as the pic has shown to you, there's a fire. So there is a scope of emergency as an on-site, immediate vicinity and community or region-wide that might happen. Community and region-wide earthquake, you name it, and we can have a lot of issues with the scope of emergency is concerned. Now, factors to consider when assessing a risk. What are they? What is happening? What is going to happen to an existing record? Physical location of the essential record, security control already in place, vulnerable areas, and timing thereof. So we need to understand these factors as in the record risk is concerned. The physical location can be located in multiple location. Security, a copy in the multiple location. Security and control should always be in places and the vulnerable areas. The timings that we are looking into it. Methods to evaluate risk. Establish a rating system. Probability rating of a catastrophic event happening out there and the impact rating. What kind of impact will it influences? Will it destroy the complete record? There will be no footprint left? So rate your risk accordingly and evaluate your findings thereby. Allow me to tell you the various steps in establishing a rating system. The probability rating, high, the event is expected to occur. Absolutely. If it is in a war zone, what is going to happen? Fire. If it is in a war zone, what is going to happen? Physical destruction of the property, infrastructure. So medium similar events have occurred in the past. Let's say earthquake. It's an earthquake prone zone. Low, the event has a little chance of occurring. Probably terrorist organizations trying to destabilize certain things, but their chances are always there. So impact rating has to be high in a catastrophic impact. If it is fire, if it is uh, anything medium, serious critical impact, significant loss, what do we go around it? And low, minor or marginal impact, some sort of losses that can be happening. So compile those records, creating a record system altogether, trying to understand the risk analysis system. On a high, if it is catastrophic or devastating loss, the event has little chance of occurring. Or catastrophic impact or devastating loss, the similar events have occurred. In the same case, is the event expected to occur if it is on a higher end of it? So probability of risk as the things comes around it. Similarly, for risk for medium, serious or critical losses, the event has little chance of occurring. In terms of medium risk, similar event have occurred. In high chance of probability of risk, the event is expected to occur. Now, this is where you need to understand. Similarly, for low and everything, we need to understand what is a high probability of risk. This has to be taken into consideration. And in fact, this is where the event is supposed to occur with certainty, to certain degree of certainty. Step number two, what are we looking into it? We are talking about rating each risk. Identify your risk analysis. Example, essential records in the second floor procurement offices identified. The debris blocking the access to the cabinet, the debris and the water from the storm, mold and mildew, temperature and humidity, unstable environment, loss of data, fire damage, inability to access data, inability to communicate. You need to make a risk about it. So risk your data, the probability, what is happening for every of the events and the probability of this thing happening. If there are any staircases, if you have put in debris, it is definitely becoming a nuisance to access, right? So the probability is high, impact is also high. Similarly, debris from the water from storm, probability is high, impact is also high. So you will be able to rate the fire damage, the loss of data, inability to access data, and so on and so forth with every passing time. Determine your threshold for actions. Now, how you are going to go around it. Remember, this is a position where it is from medium to high risk. You are trying to control. You are trying to control. Whereas when the probability is on the lower end, and probably the impact is also lower end, you may take appropriate things, but you may not be always on your toes. So that is what evaluating your risk is all about. So these were the three steps for the probability and the risk happening, the impact happening. So managing the risk, prioritizing action thereof. To prioritize your action, rank the risks that require action. When prioritizing, considers to cost to reconstruct the data, cost of defending the legal actions associated with the losses of data if there are is. These are things that you need to understand what are the damages it might cause. So documents the risk. Document the result of your risk assessment, risk analysis, and prioritizing. If you can document it, and if still something happens, you have rationalized things to present in front of it. Prepare a strategy to communicate your findings to your city, town leaders so that they can address the risk. Part of the central operating planning divisions altogether, part of essential record planning divisions, part of emergency planning, part of record management and information technology planning thereof. Strategies of handling risk. This is where we are looking at it, what we are accepting and what are we mitigating. Consider the different formats available and the cost associated with each of the format. Duplication of the original records, duplication format, microform, digital formats, backup tapes, paper, as on when on basis. What are we looking at? The storage of essential costs thereby, on-site storage option, vaults, secure central file rooms, fire resistant container, as the case might be. These are my on-site thing where the record is stored. What about the off-site storage option? Let's say another office in a different location, agreement with another city, another town, in a different geographical location or different agencies altogether, commercial storage facilities, and hot and cold sites. So make essential record available as on when on basis. Prepare to access their own essential record. Retrieval procedures should only require routine effort. All equipment needed to read essential data must be available as on when on basis. Now, how do we access those essential record? Let us understand. Let priority number one be within 12 hours. The first 12 hours, immediately you need to respond to the incident. Necessary to resume and continue operation. The catastrophic emergency that comes around. Within 12 hours, what needs to be done, how it has to be assessed, how things has to be mobilized, should be able to be at your fingertips. Priority number two is within 12 hours, perhaps that might extend to 3 days, 72 hours. Needed to manage the incident and resume operations, protect the health, safety, property, and rights of the residents as on when on basis. Priority number three is after the first 3 days. The least priority number is after 72 hours, needed to continue the essential functions and long-term recovery. Require massive resources to reconstruct, document the history of communities and families thereof. What are we looking at? We are accessing priority tables. What are we looking? We have those priority one, two, and three as for definitions, recording of the essential responses, recording of the quick resumption, recording for the continuous resumptions of the essential function. What about access? It has to be accessed within 12 hours, within 12 to 72 hours, and beyond 72 hours. So physical protective storage is accessible and outside the disaster area. This is priority three. Priority two, protective physical storage is close to the disaster recovery site for quick resumptions of business. Priority number one is access is close to the disaster site for immediate access. There are plentiful of example. Let's say priority number one is emergency action plan, business continuity plan, vital records planning, current facility drawing, personal security clearance job. This has to be done within 12 hours. Priority number two is current client files, in progress account, payable account, receivable accounts, research documents, and current contracts and agreement can be agreed within the first 3 days. Priority number three is account payable, account receivable, existing contract, and unedited financial record can be accessed after 3 days. So what are we looking into? We are trying to have something called a grab and go kits. The the government official will be on call immediately following emergency. They should have this grab and go kits that contain the essential record. Develop procedures to keep grab and go kits up to date. Use recycling or cycling to replace the records that are being changing to ensure that you have the current updated information. To assess, the government should develop and document the policies, delegations of authority, responsibilities, and agency official procedures governing the essential records. Incorporate your essential records in your plan. And last but not the least, never forget your stakeholders. Your network of stakeholders is invaluable for integrating your essential records. Emergency planning in your current core plan. The COOP managers, the emergency managers, the agency head, the information technology directors, legal and accounting staff, records management personnel, custodian, and archival record agencies or outside the home. These are your stakeholders that you should always work in tandem with. With this, I come to an end of this video presentation. Thank you for watching it.